Good morning, dear students. My name is Alaء Hussein, Assistant Lecturer at the Department of Translation, College of Arts, Al-Mustansiriya University. And today I'll be giving you a lecture about contracts and how understanding contracts will help us translate contracts. So translating contracts require understanding contracts first. In this presentation, I'll be giving you a brief about the requirements and pillars of contracts, the formation of contracts, what contracts are made of, and common items or clauses in contracts. So what is a contract? So a contract is basically an agreement between two parties creating a legal obligation for both of them to perform specific acts. And a contract party or a contracting party is an individual or business who enters into a binding agreement with another contracting party, thus accepting the obligations, responsibilities and benefits specified within the agreement. Now let's talk about the requirements for a valid contract. The first requirement is offer and acceptance. So one party must make an offer by clearly communicating their intent to be bound in a contract. Likewise, the other party must render their acceptance in unambiguous terms. So it should be clear and expressive sentences or phrases. As in the example here, we see the English version says the first party hereby sells, so using the verb sells, hereby sells to the second party, and the second party hereby accepts. So there are two verbs here, very important verbs for offer and acceptance. The first verb is sells, the second verb is accepts, to purchase from the first party. باع الطرف الأول إلى الطرف الثاني القابل لذلك. The second requirement is object. So there needs to be an object in a contract. So the object is a thing which is agreed upon in the contract. So in other words, the obligations of each party. Examples we have for objects are the transfer of property or render of service, providing service from one party to another. The other requirement is consideration. So this where both parties mutually exchange something of value in order to make the agreement binding. The consideration may be as simple as giving a $1. So consideration in Arabic means muqabil. The example we have here, the first party in consideration of the sum of, say, an amount in dollars, hereby agrees to sell onto the second party. يوافق الطرف الأول في مقابل in consideration of في مقابل مبلغ $1 أن يبيع إلى الطرف الثاني. So now we will talk about the formation of contracts. So, contract title. The title of a contract should simply reflect the nature or central purpose of the contract. Examples of contract titles we have employment agreement, عقد عمل, contract of sale of land, عقد بيع أرض, lease contract, عقد إيجار. The other part of a contract is a date of contract. So the date of contract means the date on which both parties have signed the contract. An example we have here, this agreement is made and entered into this Saturday, the 8th day of August in the year 1995 by and between. تحرر هذا العقد في يوم السبت الموافق 8 من شهر آب سنة 1995 بين كل من. And we need to have, in contracts, we need to have information on parties. So basically, just basic information about the parties, important for the contract. So examples we have here, So X, say, company having its principal office at X and represented herein by Mr. X, hereinafter referred to as the first party. So in the Arabic version it says شركة الفلانية الكائن مقرها في ويمثلها في هذا العقد السيد المشار إليه فيما بعد في هذا العقد باسم الطرف الأول. So we have basic details about this. So the name of the company and the address of the office and the representation. So the person representing the company or the office. Legal competency. So it means that both parties need to be mentally fit and they are competent to be signing and entering into a contract. So example here we have both parties hereto declare that they are legally competent to enter into this contract and hereby agree as follows. Then are legally competent. أقر المتعاقدان بأهليتهما القانونية لإبرام هذا العقد واتفقا على ما يلي. Other parts are, so we have signature of parties to contracts. So at the end of the contract, so there needs to be a signature and the date next to first party, second party, third party, etc. Now we'll talk about common items or clauses in contracts. So definitions. Definitions must be used to make the interpretation of a contract easier. They make contract provisions concise, whereas the use of defined terms should be at all times reduce any risk or any risk of ambiguity. First letters should be capitalized at all times, and the defined term must be used in the body text or in the definitions by capitalizing the term as defined, so in the definitions and in the body text. An example, we have here the following terms and expressions. So this is the phrase or the sentence that we use in the definitions of a contract. The following terms and expressions shall have the meanings assigned to them respectively. يقصد بالمصطلحات والتعبيرات التالية المعاني المبينة قرين كل منها. We have notices as common items in contracts. So a notice item states how the parties to a contract will communicate with each other in written form. An example we have here, so it says, any notice shall be in writing and may be given by either party to the other by certified or registered mail. So the Arabic version says, أي إشعار يجب أن يكون مكتوبا ويجوز إرساله من أي طرف للطرف الآخر بالبريد المعتمد أو المسجل. So default. A default clause is a provision in a legal contract that states what will happen if either party in a contract defaults or fails to uphold to their end up their end of the agreement. So an example we have here, if buyer should default تخلف default or breach its obligations under this agreement, seller shall be entitled to receive and retain the security deposit as liquidated damages. إذا تخلف default إذا تخلف المشتري عن أداء التزاماته بموجب هذا العقد أو أخل بها يحق للبائع استلام واحتجاز العربون كتعويض متفق عليه. So disputes settlement in case of disputes in contracts. So when things go wrong, this item shows how the parties can agree to settle their dispute. An example we have here, any dispute between the parties hereto arising out of the interpretation, enforcement, or execution of this contract shall be referred to the jurisdiction of Baghdad competent courts. أي نزاع ينشأ بين طرفين بسبب تفسير أو تطبيق أو تنفيذ هذا العقد يحال إلى المحاكم المختصة في بغداد. Another common item is counterparts. So counterparts, basically, so contracts are often executed or written in counterparts. So this means that each party to the contract will sign separate but identical copies of the same document. The signed copies will together form a single binding contract. An example here, so executed in duplicate, one per each party for necessary action. تحرر هذا العقد من نسختين طبق الأصل بيد كل طرف نسخة للعمل بموجبها عند الاقتضاء. Thank you very much, dear students, for your time. I hope the lecture was useful, and I wish you all the very best.